Tim Murtaugh, Trump campaign senior advisor. Tim, first of all, just talk to me, if you can, about the former president now being asked if he would debate again. And I saw him on Hannity last night. He said, well, why would he? He won the debate. What are the thoughts around doing another debate?
Oh, I think the president has already been clear that we have another one already on the books to be hosted by NBC on September 25th, and we'll see if Kamala Harris shows up to that. I think she indicated last night that they're talking about some sort of nebulous date sometime in October, which is, they still argued right up to really to the opening bell last night about that. I think she probably views that she still has more work to do, Harris, because what we saw last night from her was that she did not achieve the goals that she set out to achieve. And we know that because her allies in the media are pointing it out to her. The New York Times and Reuters, for example, say that she did not reach the voters that she intended to reach because we still haven't heard from her and voters have not heard from her exactly what is inside her plan, whatever the plans might be, why she hasn't done anything about these problems with the country that she has identified in the 3.5 years that she's been the vice president. And she also didn't do a very good job of separating herself from Joe Biden. I know that was one of her goals. She is tied to Joe Biden. They're like conjoined twins. She and Joe Biden are so close, not even Dr. Ben Carson could separate them. That's one of her main problems. And also, she can't explain adequately for anybody to hear how it is that she has arrived at these 180-degree changes from her previous positions that she's had for decades.
Well,
she sued Barack Obama to stop fracking, but now suddenly in Pennsylvania she says, I'm all for it. No one buys that. No one believes that she didn't do anything to repair any of that last night, and it shows.
Well, and it's an excellent point to bring up. I mean, the moderators, I don't know if they just weren't too curious about it or what, but the former president actually brought it up first. It was 40 minutes into that 90-plus minute debate, almost 2 hours, that they even asked about it after he had. So what about the flip-flopping? And why did it take so long?
Why did it take so long for them to bring it up to her? Well, I think it's pretty obvious that they were in the tank for her, and it absolutely was 3-1. This is one of the main problems. This is what people knew was going to be her issue heading into this debate. They put so much pressure on her team did, for her performance here because they hid her away for the 51 days, except for that joint interview she did with her human body pillow, Tim Walz, for comfort there. They hid her away, and when she showed up finally last night here in Philadelphia, there was so much pressure on her to explain all of these crazy changes in positions. No one believes this. You can't sue Barack Obama to stop fracking off the coast of California and then come to Pennsylvania and say, hey, I'm all for it. You can't call the border wall on our southern border to control illegal immigration un-American and then show images of that border wall in your TV ads when you're saying, hey, look at me, I'm tough on enforcing the border. You can't try to force everyone into driving electric vehicles and outlaw gas-powered cars with your electric vehicle mandates, and then suddenly when you're called on it, and in Michigan, the auto industry is really struggling and losing billions of dollars and jobs because of the EV mandates, and then suddenly say, hey, I never really supported that.
Yeah, but you have to know all of that.
No one believes it. No one believes it.
Yeah, you'd have to know all of that.
Right.
You've got to know the original policy
to
compare it with wherever it's migrating to now. I want to get to this. Vice President Harris's microphone may have been muted when former President Trump was talking at last night's debate. However, her face was not muted and it was not covered. We could see what was going on there. And critics were quick to call out the over-the-top expressions on her face. Fox News contributor Miranda Devine called them rehearsed and exaggerated, adding that Kamala Harris comes across as fake and weak. A Daily Wire reporter says they convey a sense of dishonesty and nervousness. Another conservative writer calls them way over, coached, uncomfortable, and weird, borrowing a word from the left. Tim?
Yeah, there's no question. We expected her to be able to go out and actually deliver a performance because she can memorize lines and memorize her stage directions. Right. And the question is, what does she say, not how she says it? We know that she is able to deliver lines that she has memorized. That's why she gave us this incredible gold nugget for when she said, my values haven't changed, when she did do that CNN interview. What that means is it's a straight line for her time as the liberal DA of San Francisco all the way up to today. everything that's in her record. When she says my values haven't changed, it all brings it up to present tense. And it's also code talk to the left. When she says that my values haven't changed, she's telling the left, hey, don't worry, I've got to say these things to try to get elected, but at heart, I am still one of you. She is caught on her own agenda. We're backing this up with TV ads. We've got an ad that's going up today that's going to call her out on the fracking issue. You can't say I'm a vehement opponent of fracking and then come to Pennsylvania and say, hey, I want to protect your fracking jobs, even though I've been saying for 20 years that I hate the thing.
Look,
it was a disaster for her last night, and it is bearing out. You will see. You will see. She did not accomplish anything that she set out to do last night. The media loves her. They're trying to create this little mini burst of enthusiasm, just like they did when she became the candidate.
Like that's not a change in any sort of way. So when she says she's the change agent, she certainly doesn't mean that to feather out to the liberal and legacy media, because that wouldn't be true. They're right in there with her.
No.
And that was on full display. And I saw it up close in Chicago at the Black Journalist Convention as well, or conference. Good to see you, Tim Murtaugh.
There's a nugget
Appreciate
inside.
your time.
Good to see you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.